And we are recording. First of all, thanks to everyone who is watching this interview. I am your host, Abraham El Jaguar, and I have the pleasure to speak to M. Solid. He is the designer behind Demon Ninja. If you haven't seen my video where I talk about the introduction, please check out the playlist. I'm going to put it in the description and in a pinned comment. So thank you for being here, M. Solid.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Before we get started into deeper details, can you tell us about the Kickstarter for Demon Ninja?
Yes, the Kickstarter is currently on the pre-launch stage, and we are trying to get it to launch by mid-January. It was a long walk until the Kickstarter. The game has been in works for about 6 years, and only recently, after enough playtesting, we achieved the decision that it was ready to go into the pre-launch stage in Kickstarter, so that we can talk about it freely and maybe get some people to spread the word about Demon Ninja.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the origins. When did you first started to play tabletop RPGs?
About 23 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago, yes.
And what was the first game that you played?
Well, Dungeons and Dragons in Grandpa's basement. You know, I had the proper rites of initiation into the RPG world.
Hmm. I think a lot of us started with Dungeons and Dragons, just like the typical, the classical game to start with.
Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely, absolutely. It blew my mind right on the first day. So, although I played only for a very limited amount of time that day, it just it occurred to me immediately the potential of the medium to explore a lot of dimensions of human psychology, or even just games for entertainment. But it was easily the best gaming experience I ever had, including sports and other types of games that have a gaming component. Let's say.
Mm-hmm. And were you lucky enough to have a Dungeons and Dragons session with actual roleplay? Because there are some pretty ugly ones. My first experience was terrible, terrible, typical. What do you do? What do you intend to do? Can my character? Can I use a spell? No, no, no. Wait, wait, wait. Okay, I'm going to attack.
Yeah. Well, no, unfortunately, not so lucky.
Oh.
I think we were pretty much within those statistics. You know, what can I do? We would turn to the game master and say, "My character tries to attack." Always talk like this, and the game master himself. I mean, he was in serious trouble because it was his first time in our role playing games as well. We didn't have. How would I say, an experienced game master. Sometimes lucky people have a game master that has played before, and so he can be more useful in guiding their experience in character creation and helping them start the game. But that was not the case. The game master was exactly like us. He was thrown into the game master role pretty much involuntarily, and he didn't have much to add to our knowledge. So he was trying his best, right? But it was a big mess, let's say. But within the chaos, even in the chaos of that day, I at least I can't speak for the others, but I thought I saw something that could be perfected and could be much better. I understood that this was the first time, this was chaotic, but this had the potential to be much better, and I have been at it ever since.
Yes, there is always that first time. That's
Yeah.
important. Even though it's messy, it's important. And now, were you always into ninja stuff, ninja mythology, all of that?
No, not at
No.
all. My idea of ninja or shinobi or other name, my idea of this figure of this was very much molded by pop culture. Um, somebody dressing in black that does martial arts, maybe throw some pointy stars around, but that was my. I know that 007 fights ninja. I know that Wolverine fights ninja, but I mean, Elektra pretty much teams up with Ninja or also fights Ninja. There's a lot of known characters from the pop culture that interact with Ninja, but that was basically my idea of Ninja. They all look the same when they appear in a movie. They're dressed in black, and I had some contact with Ninja also because of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm sorry to say, but I had all those inputs from pop culture, but not on this level that you see now with Demon Ninja. No, not at all. If you would have told me this, 10 to 15 years ago, I was like, what? Well, that's not something that I envisioned for Ninja or for myself to write a game about Ninja Shinobi.
And how did you come up with the concept for Demon Ninja? When and how did it happen?
This might be funny to talk about. I didn't. So the thing is this: I didn't think about what you see in Demon Ninja as having anything to do with ninja in the beginning. So bear with me for a moment. I will try to explain this. So um, I was thinking about designing a game about special forces, right? I mean, like you know, death squadrons, basically special forces, and a military game, a game about a military experience, a dark military experience, where all the characters would be military specialists with dark pasts. What nowadays a psychiatrist could say it's PTSD, or some serious condition that is
Mhm.
very hard to deal with. And all the characters will be like that. They have done things, hard things in the past, and they are trying to achieve redemption from that. That was my goal in designing a game. I wanted to design a game that offered a real experience of that. But I didn't want to design a game where you had to convince the players to want redemption, which would inevitably fall on the shoulders of the game master. To convince the players, look, redemption is a good thing. You this is what you want. No, I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for a game that once you start playing, the players immediately understand the problem, and without the game master having to explain what is the problem with the darkness and redemption. Okay, so I wanted to design a mechanism that would pretty much deliver that experience on itself, and the game master will be just a facilitator of the beginning of the experience itself. But as I said, as you can see, there is no mention of ninja up until this moment. I was thinking about designing a game in broader terms, like in nowadays, a contemporary special force, uh, something like this. But what happens is this: I it came to my possession a scroll, a true scroll, an ancient Japanese scroll. There's a lot you can, in specialized bookstores, you can buy them. They're not cheap because they're original, but you can. So it came to my possession a scroll of a pretty much old pre-Tokugawa school of martial arts, more than martial arts, but of military tactics. Demon Ninja is not. It's not really a game about martial arts. Many people that read the title may think so, but once they enter into the university experience, they will see that it's much deeper than that. So this scroll came into my possession, and that's when the idea sparked in my mind. What if okay, there's a lot of games about military specialists and nowadays, so I could do this maybe in a different time. But the truth is that I believed once I started to entertain the idea of, maybe using ninja to achieve my goals. So the military special forces would be made of shinobi, ninja. Um, the the truth is that I was not happy with the concept of ninja as we get it from the pop culture. Not not every single element of pop culture. There's some elements that I believe I talk about in the book itself that I believe can be a good inspiration. They can be good inputs to the, if you get to know the series or the books or you can use that to texturize the experience that you will get with the manager. But aside from those exceptions, the idea of ninja, the dressed in black, the martial artist dressed in black, sword sort of fighting everywhere or throwing his pointy stars. That was not the figure that I was thinking about when I was entertaining the idea of using ninja. So my idea was more related to a special agent than a martial artist dressing in black. So you could, if to let you into my mind at the time, maybe we would be talking about like a 007, but a Japanese 007 in the old Japan, if this makes any sense. But
Mm-hmm.
of course, if that was the case, this 007 would not have pistols or technological gadgets like those that the original 007 has at his disposal. So this is when I saw, okay, this concept of a special agent, not pretty much the typical ninja, but a new concept of ninja. This is more pleasant to me, and I think it's more adequate to the experience that I am crafting. But now, to make it really exciting, I need to open the door to the occult or the supernatural. I need to let in some seasonings here, some occult seasonings to this, and that is what where I brought up my love for H.P. Lovecraft. I say, okay, I've always loved H.P. Lovecraft, and I need some myth in this game, so it doesn't become too cold, right? Too tactical of a challenge without soul. So I asked myself, that was a second stage. Once I had defined the figure of the ninja that I was looking for, a special agent, a spy, a government spy or other organization spy. Once I had defined this figure, the second stage is what does he do? So, right? I mean, what's up with him? And I needed some ethos, some pathos, some myth, even some legend, maybe in a remote way. Demon Ninja is not about role playing legends, but even though it is present on the narrative, on the setting. So, H.P. Lovecraft at the time, not anymore, but at the time was my favorite author in this regard. So I thought, okay, why don't I add some inspiration from that side of the realm? And that's when the concept of phalanx of darkness, the darkness that you see depicted in Demon Ninja, started to arise. It first arose as maybe a threat to these squadrons, to these dead squadrons, to these special forces. But soon I understood that you know them fighting against tentacles was a very basic premise that was not deep enough. That's not deep enough for what I was aiming for. I would
Not
like
enough
to.
substance.
Yes, exactly. I would like to go deeper than that. So since I was thinking from the very beginning that these special forces would have troubled pasts and troubled souls and would be, struggling, I didn't want to write a game about heroes. There's a lot of those games already, and I've played many of them and I love them. But this is not a game about knights in shiny armors or even, Tolkien-esque heroes or anything like that. No, this is a game about real people that struggle with real problems inside their minds, and they had to do things that they will never forget. And this really manifests in the game. This is not just a theory. So um, I thought, okay, what if the darkness wasn't outside, but primarily inside the characters? So it would not be an outside threat, but it would threaten the characters from within in a very real way. But I also played games that had those elements of dark powers against the characters. This is a very common theme. Some of my favorite games, the characters were struggling against something. I won't mention names, but several games have this premise integrated into their experience. But the thing is, this is the third stage, crafting of the darkness. The thing is, I didn't want the. This is going to sound strange, but I wasn't looking for a very defined kind of threat. What I mean is this. I believe that the more you describe the dark force, like, give it certain characteristics, certain look, the more you talk about it and describe it new features, or uh, give it many details in the way it manifests, the more you do this, it for me, the more I did this, it seemed that I was making it scarier, but actually I wasn't. I was making it less scary, because the true scary thing, like H.P. Lovecraft, is the fear of the unknown, not none of the known. And by detailing so much this existence of this mysterious force, this phalanx force, I was making it known, right? So
Mhm.
in making it known, okay, it would work in the game, but soon the players would be able to, you know, just adapt and not deal with it like the way I would like to.
Like they
So
become too adjusted or too comfortable with the concept.
exactly, yes. So it's not scary anymore. So what I did was, okay. So I decided that the threat will come from within the players and only then from without, not the other way around. And now I decided that no, no, darkness doesn't have a shape. It's not like the worm or anything like that. It doesn't have a shape. I don't even want art for the darkness. What I call the darkness, the phalanx. Because the minute that somebody draws it, it becomes less scary, according to this theory that I've made up. So nobody is to draw it. It's forbidden. I don't want any artist to do this. I only want art around darkness and the themes around the darkness, but not exactly of the darkness. Maybe of the manifestations of darkness, the several that can happen, but not of the darkness itself. That is to remain, somewhere in the cosmos. So the thing is, once I decided that, then okay, the darkness became what you see in Demon Ninja. So this was basically the path to the core of the game. So as you can see, the idea of using ninja was a late decision. I could, with the concept that I was working on, I could have gone to other types of figures, even contemporary, um, other options. There were other options, but I believe that ninja deserved. I inspired myself in that scroll that military strategy scroll, and I read some things that I liked a lot, and I decided that Ninja needed an overhaul. Ninja needed a new paint job, so I thought I tried to do this.
Was that scroll? Is that scroll about a specific ninja clan, like the Iga or something like that?
No, 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 no.
No.
According to that scroll, Shinobi is just one of the 12 specializations that you can take as a samurai. And it's just being a shinobi is something that a samurai can do for his lord if the mission commands it. If the lord decides that this is a mission of infiltration, not of fighting in a battle, then he won't fight in a battle. He won't put on armor. He will learn other things, and he will have to infiltrate. He will learn how to disguise and things like that. So, according to that scroll, ninja was not a unit. It was a job that other units have to do sometimes. Generally, with samurai backgrounds.
That
So that's, you know.
that sounds very interesting. It sounds like the scroll was more on the side, like on the feudal side, perhaps the Tokugawa,
Yeah.
because the villagers usually consider the ninja to be survivors from warlust, and they are trying to help their village to survive. So
Yes, yes.
that's a good
I
way of looking at things from the two perspectives. Now, when it comes to the ninja clans that you designed, was there any source of inspiration for each of the clans?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's certain ninja series that I like from books and from television and movies. I talk about that in the book. But how should I say? The truth is that the demon clans, as I call them, as they are called, the demon clans, because maybe there's a prior point that I must make. When we talk about shinobi or ninja in the context of the demon ninja universe, we must understand that there are also shinobi and demon ninja that are close to the ones that I was describing as being depicted in pop culture. So dressing in black and doing all that. But these are, you know, um, so as to see the division that's exists in Demon Ninja. These are derogatorily seen by Demon Ninja because all they want, they're really martial artists, and they serve the demon clans as shock troops. Do you understand? They're not the
Mhm.
heroes of the setting in any shape or form. They
Uh-huh.
they are the shock troops of the demon clans. Like you see that there's the special forces, and then there's the more um, numerous regimental troops. Okay, so they're troops used in sometimes used in battle, but they're not prepared um, to accomplish or take on any serious and complex missions. Demon Ninja is not a game of fighting all the time. The fighting is so deadly that you can die without rolling the dice. So Demon Ninja is more about preparation and planning. Is really what this is about. The missions in Demon Ninja are very complex. It's not just destroy this or steal that. No. Demon Ninja is very the missions are very complex and require your full attention and planning. And the best way to try to win a fight within Demon Ninja or with Demon Ninja in the mix is really better not fights or at all, or if fights, then you have to plan not only the fight but your means of escape to cut off his means of escape, because in the system of Demon Ninja there are resources that allow you to achieve an immediate retreat from combat that frustrates the plan for a big battle. So it's a different game. But as I was saying, the demon clans are not clans of these lower level shinobi that Demon Ninja calls saru, like monkeys. No, the demon clans are actually clans of only the elite special forces. So, to answer your question, what was the inspiration? What I did was this: I did not take inspiration, period, in any ninja thing to design the demon clans. The demon clans to design the demon clans, I took inspiration in cults, not ninja related material, but true cults. Like, the demon clans are better defined or better explained as fanatical cults of demon ninja that share the same high technique, because there's a high and low techniques. The low techniques are can be common to several demon clans, but not the high technique. The high technique is it's only used by the demon ninja that belong to that demon clan. And there's a lot of military customs also. I can give an example. Every all demon ninja know that if someone sees you use your high technique, you cannot escape alive. You cannot escape. If someone sees your high technique, you have to take his life, unfortunately. You cannot escape alive. Not for any specific reason, but because that's the belief of their cult. They are cults. The demon clans are not just, there are big organizations like the covenants, but when it comes to demon clan, the covenants are real organizations, like what would be, let me see, what would be equivalent of the CIA of today, or of KGB of yesterday and stuff like that. Okay, that will be the equivalent of the covenants. They are large scale organizations of spies and assassins, and they have their own way, their own rule, inside rules, and But when it comes to demon clans, they're tighter units, they're tighter cells. So they're really more like religious fanatical cults, but not they do not practice religion. They practice dark martial arts mixed with witchcraft and stuff like that. So I don't know if this makes any sense. If you want me to.
No, that makes perfect sense actually. It's funny because one of my viewers was asking me about Demon Ninja, and I said, "This is Naruto for adults."
Oh, okay, that's perfect. That's the best one I heard so far. That's perfect. Yeah, it is precisely that. It's Naruto for adults. I mean, not for all adults. Demon Ninja are not. Demon Ninja is not a game for everybody. I'm aware of that. Demon Ninja is. Um, in fact, it's not just a game. It has. I don't know if you have reached the point of the mechanics or meta mechanics, but if you have, you will understand what I'm talking about. It's not just a game per se. It has. It's a game, yes, but the book, besides allowing you to play, of course, it is also an open door to a community project around Demon Ninja universe that we call meta mechanics. If you want, we can talk more about that later, or depending on how you want to conduct this.
I was actually going to ask you about the dice system because I think it's very interesting that you drop one. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So the dice system, the Demon Ninja comes equipped with his own signature dice system. So it relies on six-sided dice, three six-sided dice per player, and it is called the drop one system. This version that you can find in Demon Ninja is called the drop one system, the dojo version, because there is an original version of the drop one system that was co-designed by me and a friend of mine in 2015, and this is a version that I adapted to the experience of Demon Ninja, and so called it drop one system, the dojo version, which is the one that is presented now in the book and the Demon Ninja, the role-playing book. The other one is the original. There's some differences. It's not entirely different, but there's some adaptations that were necessary to calibrate the experience for Demon Ninja, and so hence it was born the drop one system, the dojo version. The system is, I believe, quite simple to describe. So each player roll, anytime that the game master considers that there might be a chance of failure in the action that the player is attempting to accomplish, he asks the player to roll three six-sided dice and discard one of the results, one of the dice that is choice. Generally, of course, the player discards the lowest dice to obtain a better result, but not always. That's what you will discover when you start to play. Not always. Sometimes he doesn't want a better result, so he discards the highest. Yes, but generally it is so. So the player discards the lowest, and then adds all of his modifiers that he might have to help him achieve a better roll, a better dice. This is the basics of how to roll dice in the drop one system. So the player throws the three six-sided dice and removes one from the table, and that is his result. But the drop one system is not only about rolling dice. It has also other rules about not only about combat, but about other situations. I don't know if you think it's worth it talking about this, or maybe this is enough about the drop one.
No, yes, go ahead. Please do.
Okay, so the drop one system also talks about um, how to order combat. You know, the order of combat. How to what happens when it even talks about some details that maybe were not fully expected in this kind of narrative game, but they are present, like hunger, lack of sleep, all of those things. Yeah, one thing that I can exemplify, maybe that people that like mechanics might find interesting, is the way that the drop one system, the dojo version, deals with critical successes and fumbles, which is a common theme in many RPGs. The existence of a critical success or a fumble. This is something normal, yes, but all my life, the best games, the games that I liked, always dealt with this in a following manner. It always conferred some advantage or disadvantage in the case of fumble inside the game. What I mean inside the game is, affecting your action that you are trying to accomplish, or a future action, or even bringing some positive consequence to your character or a negative consequence to the life of your character. But it always has to do something with characters within the game. So, things that help them or hinder them within the game. But the drop one system takes this in a slightly different route. The thing is, it is the assumption of the drop one system that once you succeed critically at something, the confidence of your character grows. Like, his belief in his own abilities and his own competence is improved when he achieves a critical success, because it is critical. Everybody sees it, including himself, so he feels more reassured of his competence. Okay, he feels he really learned something because he must be doing something right. That will be the translation. Conversely, when he fumbles a roll, which could be described as a critical failure, let's put it this way, the opposite happens. So the character questions himself because he failed critically, and everybody saw it, and he saw it, and he knows it. So he starts to second guess his ability. It's even common in games to have some superstition, like when a player is rolling too many critical failures, sometimes the player doesn't want to roll again and start to try to use other resources at its disposal not to roll again. Sometimes even these superstitions can happen. So what really is happening is that the player is being psychologically affected by bad results. So he's losing confidence in his character sheet or in his in his choices. Or okay. So what the drop one system does this: when you roll a critical success, you gain experience points, not advantages inside the game. That's not what it's about, because once you roll a critical success, you already succeeded in the task regardless of the difficulty level. So inside the game, there's nothing more that the game master can give you. But the thing is, because it was such a tremendous success, you gain confidence in your skills. You gain new ideas of how to improve it. Every time you succeed critically, you can only see stars ahead of you, right? I can do this even better, even better. Okay, so how the drop one system rewards you with experience points. Once you fumble a roll, which is the opposite, the drop one system punishes you by removing experience points from your pool. Let's say the character enters a slight, depression state, like not clinical depression. Just I'm just using a word to describe that he feels very bad. I mean, he doesn't, he starts to get nihilist, like it is not worth it. I can't do this. Okay, so what this does is remove power from your experience pool. So, I'm not sure this is coming across the idea, but
I was thinking of the perfect example, but it's not related to Ninja. In the case of Wild Bill, the famous gunslinger, he
yeah,
was amazing, probably unparalleled, but sadly, he killed his own deputy by accident during a gunfight. And after killing his own deputy, he was never the same again.
yes.
Never. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so it's something like that. Yes, it relies on. You could translate it relies on the mechanism of confidence, of gaining or losing confidence in yourself, like the trauma of losing confidence and the wonders of being confident, even more confident and even more confident in your abilities according to your resume of critical successes or fumbles. So this is just one aspect of the drop one that maybe can exemplify the different take on the subject. And there's, of course, there's other things that are more related to Demon Ninja in particular. This principle of that I've just described of organizing and dealing with critical success and fumble can be used in any game, right? But there's things that are particular to Demon Ninja. For example, if I may,
Mhm.
uh, Demon Ninja, when we talk and starting from the where I left experience points, Demon Ninja does not deal with only one kind of experience point. Okay, so here it goes. I know this sounds weird, but give me a shot here. The thing is this. Um, in the drop one system, there are two kinds of experience points that you can gain from your role playing in the game. One is called collective, and the other is called individual. Sometimes the players call it personal experience point, the playtester. So, what is this? This is what follows. When your character, there are certain things that your character does that can only teach him, that can only improve him. He cannot improve a whole group because he's the one who did it and he's the one who went through the experience. And you need to go through that experience to learn. So it's not, you cannot transmit that to another person just by talking. Okay. There are other kinds of actions that you can actually sit around a campfire and discuss those actions, discuss what you learned and what was your lesson, and share that with other people, and they can benefit from your mistakes or from your great successes. Okay, so in this case, this will be collective experience, meaning the player did something or the whole group did something that can be shared and talked about and studied and extracted lessons from that. And so the experience goes into their collective experience pool. Sometimes the player does something that can only teach him. And why can it only teach him? Because of this reason, and this now is particular to Demon Ninja and not to any other game. Because each player gains individual experience points in his own way. What I mean is this: not everybody learns the same, and not everybody is the same. So the thing is, when you are reading about the demon clans, that's why I told you that the demon clans were, different and very. When you are reading about the demon clans, you will find something called clan focus. Clan focus is the, you know, the motivation of the people from that demon clan. So, right, they have something that motivates them a lot. In some cases, is healing people. In other cases, is hunting a demon. In other cases, is surviving combat with anybody, being invincible, never dead, never caught, never destroyed. Even if you don't win, it doesn't matter. But I can never be destroyed. They have specific motivations. I can survive anything. Okay, so they gain personal experience points when they accomplish something like that. And that is not transmissible because of the culture of the demon clans of the other characters. The other characters come from other demon clans with other culture, other inner culture within the demon clan. So they will gain personal experience points in other ways. Then there are categories that anybody who does that gains that experience point, like, slaying a particular kind of demon by himself, some things like that. Okay, so there's two categories of experience and not just one. I like to use the campfire example. So some things you can sit around the campfire and we can all learn from that, and other things you have to go through that to gain that experience points. You cannot teach that, you need to go through it, and only going through that you can gain experience points. Okay, so here's another thing that the Drop One and Demon Ninja do that I believe is slightly different from the usual. Um, there's other stuff too. I mean, I will talk for hours. I don't want to take over this conversation because, but there's other things, that's, for example, generally. The experience points is either ascribed by the game master, according to the quality of the role playing or the objectives achieved by the group in case of the sandbox games or more narrative focused games, or by a pre-elaborate table, like in the case of a more combat oriented game or a more dungeon oriented game. There's the table, and if you kill the that beast or that monster, you will get a preset number of experience points. That's the way it goes. Okay, so but in Demon Ninja, the drop on system and the drop on system likes to roll dice a lot. So what happens is this: even the awarding of the experience points
Mhm.
is not. It can never be the same. What I mean is this: the experience point rewards in most cases, 99% of the cases, when you slay an antagonist of the game. There's several types of antagonists, but an antagonist of the game, the game master does not. He is not to lose time. The system is made in such a way that it has to unburden the game master from evaluating the role playing of each character and awarding the experience points to each character. That was something. I've been a forever DM. I've been cursed with the forever DM curse. So it was something that I never liked because I had to judge the performance of the players individually and give them experience points in front of each other, and that was something that was never to my liking. I would prefer if the game helped me here with something that unburdens me from this job. I want to be a game master, but I don't want to be a judge. I know that, of course, there has to be a metric. I'm aware of this, but if I could be released from this relieved from this duty, it would be very good for me. So what the game does is this: the reward in experience points for most things, 99.9% of things, is rewarded in dice rolls and not in points. Meaning, an example, for example, if a player slays a kurage, the book doesn't say, okay, and you when you slay kurage you gain 5 experience points. No, what the game says is when you slay a kurage, which is basically an intermediate demon, you gain 2 dice 6 experience points.
Mm.
So the game master has to roll, and he rolls more dice points the more difficult it was the task. Of course, that's the metric, but the metric is not linear, it's non-linear. I mean, you know, you can learn a lot from killing one kurage because of the circumstances, the situations in which it happened, and another kurage not so much because you had luck or it was, you know, more straightforward the encounter. So you roll dice to signify this. You understand? So you are
Mhm.
rewarded with dice rolls, not with points. So the dice rolls will determine your points. I mean, if again back to the example, if you slay a kurage, you roll 2 dice 6, and you get a 5 and a 4, then you got 9 experience points. Congratulations! That was a very tough encounter, and you know, so
And that's fun because that way the player can integrate that into the role play of the character. Like, oh, my character obtained this insight from that battle. He actually
yeah.
learned how to dodge quickly and all of it.
Exactly. It stimulates the character development, and also keeps the game fresh. You know, sometimes, you know, the players can, after many sessions, the player can discuss, oh, you killed a Kurago. Oh, well, well, I was in a bad luck when I killed mine, but I'm glad that you got yours. And, you know, all those interactions that, but yes, the many rewards are like this. For example, when you perform Hoyo, and you drain the power of another demon ninja, fallen demon ninja, you also roll. You don't get a set number of points. Why? Because sometimes when you only have 3 seconds before the darkness leaves the fallen opponent's head and passes yours, so you have to drain as much as you can, and that depends on your Hoyo concentration, that you can drain as much power as you can. So sometimes you can drain a lot, sometimes not so much. You weren't focused. You know, you need to focus more. So it also is rewarded in dice rolls. You can roll a lot and sometimes not so much, sometimes an intermediate number, but it keeps the story fresh. It's never the same, right? And in another way, it unburdens the game master. This is what I mean. So the game master doesn't have to make past that judgment. You know, this player did this good, the other player not really, and this awkward situation doesn't have to occur, because all the game master can do for you once the game session ends is roll the dice. You can do nothing more. Sometimes you can, you know, the game opens an exception. For example, if the game master believes this was an amazing game session, I mean, this was out of the ordinary, you know, the guys went through stuff that never happened before in the game session. So okay, I will roll one more dice for the collective game pool, like game experience pool, the collective one, you know, not the personal, the collective one. So that is allowed. But in the other situations, the game master is free from that. He doesn't have to be the judge of experience, which is something that is dear to me. You can focus solely on being a good game master and letting the dice, I mean the cosmos, I mean the dice, uh, talk about what the gods will decide for experience points. Something like this. I'm sorry for the long talk.
No, that's perfect. This is all about you and your game. This interview is all about you. Now, mm, would you say that the process of coming up with the setting of a fictional version of Japan was like a smooth process, or were you do you have to do a lot of research for it?
Okay. Well, no. I mean, it wasn't smooth because of this. There are two reasons for it not being smooth. The first reason is my decision of deepening the figure of the ninja and going deeper on this subject, inspired by the scroll I read, at a cost. You know, and the cost would be that I had to do a lot of research, because if I don't, I will be stuck with the same, you know, um, the same characteristics that we know of the ninja. So I resorted more to academic works of current scholars and you know that scholars that dedicate themselves to what they call historical ninjutsu. So not a ninjutsu imagined by entertainment industry or even for other purposes, but a really historical ninjutsu. So I found two great authors that inspired a lot of my work. They have themselves acquired very expensive scrolls that I cannot, and they have written books about it. Professor Joseph Turnbull and a few more, and I learned a lot from that. Many things, many techniques, names, many things. Of course, Demon Ninja is. I'm not saying that all of this is true or no, that's not it, but Demon Ninja is a mix between reality and fiction. Is a alcoholic mix between reality and fiction. So I've resorted to a lot of academic works to take me in a more direct to direct my research. Of course, that I am aware that Demon Ninja is an approach, is a foreign approach to Japan. If I was Japanese, I would probably have written an entirely different book, even with entirely different looks or artistic. But yes, I this Demon Ninja is not Demon Ninja is not an encyclopedia of Japan. This is not it. Demon Ninja is a depiction from a foreigner, and not even a depiction of the real Japan, but a depiction of the Japan that could have been. So influenced by Lovecraft, and this is a vision of a foreigner of Japan. I try to make it as good as possible to honor Japan and the culture and its past, but I am always aware. I never forget that I am looking at it through the eyes of a foreigner. So my Japan, my dark Japan of Demon Ninja is probably not what fictional Japan from a Japanese author would be. Probably not. I tried to find other works, other games in historical Japan, and I did some. Um, but the games that I found were either epic games, and I wasn't designing an epic game. This is not about heroes. There are no heroes here. Everybody has done bad things. Everybody has things in the past that they wish would never happen. Sometimes they hate it. Sometimes they hate themselves. Sometimes they don't understand. So these people have, yes, they have a few special powers, but unfortunately, their special powers are not enough to make all of this human condition go away. This is the true experience of Demon Ninja. So in this regard, I haven't found what I was looking for, because they were mainly what I found were mainly epic games where the players get to be, incredible heroes. Or if they are ninja, I mean, they can be a ninja, but they can be, high school people fighting with katana or something like that. But that's not what I didn't know what I wanted, but I know that I didn't want that. That was not what I was looking for. If I had to design special forces in medieval Japan, what would I do? This is the question. Not just the fighting aspects. And we can talk about the fighting aspects if you want, because
Sure, go ahead. Mhm.
there's a lot to be said about that. But because many people think Demon Ninja is, they look at it and think, oh yes, this is a martial arts game. For sure, there has to be a lot of martial arts, and there is actually, but not in the sense that most people are expecting. And I know it can be a disappointment with the game, because maybe people, were getting into the game with the idea of kicking and punching. And yes, I understand. I like martial arts too, but the game is it's more. That's not the focus of the game. That's not enough to solve the problems that these Demon Ninja have in their hands. They have a mass in their hands, and they cannot solve everything with kicks. We can talk about this,
Yes,
but
because I saw like it has a very strong philosophical focus, I would say, like more on the way of looking at life through the Demon Ninja's eye.
yeah.
As
So when you read the book, you will. I think you will quickly reach a conclusion that there is a philosophical question behind the book. And the philosophical question, I can reveal it right now, is this: is it worth it, or should we make concessions to evil in order to get good? This is the philosophical question posed, the philosophical question challenge thrown by Demon Ninja at the players. Demon Ninja is a tactical challenge, a martial challenge, a spiritual challenge, but also, and mainly a philosophical challenge. So, the condition of the Demon Ninja is the following. This philosophical question is not just philosophy. It manifests in the game in the following manner. Demon Ninja have been trained in a ratio of 1,000 to 1. What I mean by this is this: for every 1,000 candidates, one gets accepted into a demon clan. Most of the other perish during training, and if they don't perish, unfortunately, they are, according to the setting, they are executed because they are now witnesses. So it's a very hard experience. But the thing is this: the techniques that the Demon Ninja wields secret techniques. They do. But the thing is this: the special powers that we find in the role-playing games in Demon Ninja are not free. In this sense, every time a Demon Ninja uses one of his formidable secret techniques, and he can do so, and they're very useful, yes, but every time he does, he gains 1 point of darkness in his character sheet. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you reach a certain point of darkness, you lose the character. But losing the character is not just dying. If it was just dying, you just make another character. But the problem here is much more savage and much greater than that, because when you don't just lose the character, your character turns into the apex antagonist of the game immediately, which is an Oni. And he can do so in a very silent manner, because an Oni is a face collector, a doppelganger. So he doesn't have to explode in your character for everybody to see. You can just turn silently. So if you do that, you will probably kill the whole team, because not many Demon Ninja teams are ready to take on an Oni, especially among them. Maybe no one is a very apex antagonist of the game, and should not be used by the game master unless the players are very, very advanced. We have a pyramid, we have some guidelines in the book to help you judge when to use it. But this is the mechanics that express the philosophical question that I was talking about. So, should you make concessions to evil to get the good? What this means in the context of a game is this: if it's necessary to use your techniques to accomplish the mission, should you do it? Another example: if it's necessary to use your techniques to save this civilian from death, should you do it? Because remember, every time that you do, you gain a point of darkness. And if you ever lose control over this, you don't lose just your character. You can kill everybody in the team. So the thing is, so this is the, let's say, practical incarnation of the philosophical question. I didn't want just a philosophical question because some people don't like to read a lot. So I would like them to experience what I mean with the question. Is it okay to, use some techniques, gain some points of darkness here and there, just to, get you through the game, accomplish the mission? Yeah. But the problem is, it comes to a point, and everybody starts the game with darkness. You don't start at 0. You don't get that benefit. When in the character creation, the book explains what will your starting darkness be. And it's directly related to your choices during character creation. But it's inevitable to get some darkness. So you already start, advanced in the darkness rank. So it's very dangerous to use your techniques. Yes, you can. But keep in mind that if you fail to control this situation, you will kill everybody. You will destroy everything. So, it's a very controversial thing to use your powers. And can I just tell some things that happened during playtesting? Maybe you would like to
Mm-hmm.
hear.
Of course.
So what happens is this. Uh, Generally, when people start playing Demon Ninja, what they do is what they do in every role-playing game. The challenges start coming their way. I'm just calling them challenges not to divert the conversation to another topic, which is the host, the signature figure that Demon Ninja will encounter, which is the whole game experience is about that. But I will leave this aside. So in most role playing games that I've played in my life, when the challenges start coming at the party, in every way, shape, or form. I mean, enemies, or combats, or puzzles, or tactical challenges, or things to find out, whatever it is. When the challenges start coming at the party, they the players start using their personal resources, to solve the problem. And they join forces to solve the problem. Okay, that's very well. But the thing is this: in Demon Ninja, if you do this, when the challenges are coming at the party and everybody starts using their techniques to tackle the challenges, yes, they gain a great advantage and they probably can tackle the challenges. But the game session probably can end middle, because everybody will hit the roof of darkness and turn into Onis and kill each other. So and the game master doesn't have to say anything. You know, he doesn't have to say anything. When you use a technique, okay, you use a technique. Then when the scene is over, you add the point of darkness. You know what's happening. So the game master doesn't need, when you're 7, 8. It's normal to start with 6, 5. It's perfectly normal. You use 1 or 2, 3 techniques, and you're on the verge of the edge. So the thing is very it's a very tough decision. So what do the players do? The players that survive, they start to adapt, which is what human beings do, right? I mean, they start to get smart and they understand the mechanism of the game, and they start to develop strategies around it. Like, for example, during playtesting, one team will say, okay, sometimes the players remind each other of their, the status of their dogs. Like, you need to keep this in control. You're gonna waste us all. We're gonna go if you keep doing this. Try to rest your techniques for now. I'll take over. I'll use mine. I have a little more darkness to that. I can take more darkness now, so you can rest and find ways to lower your darkness, so you can use again, and that's it. And they develop strategies, like they share the burden of the darkness and stuff like that. Um, but unfortunately, the darkness doesn't go away on its own. That's not how it happens. You just can't wait for the darkness to go away. It's not, no. For the darkness to go away, you have to do the opposite. So you to lose darkness, you have to cleanse your soul from the stuff that you did in the past. And the only way to do that is to undo your actions. You have to help people to compensate for the people that you had to eliminate, unfortunately. You have to help people, or to have to slay demons. Another way to lose darkness, because there's 2 ways to lose darkness. One is peaceful, and the other not so peaceful. The peaceful way is to help people, especially hosts. We can talk about hosts later on. Or the other way, which is not peaceful, which is the warrior way. You can slay demons, because both parasites in the host and demons come from the same darkness, which is that darkness that I said, that there's not even art about it. That force that does not speak. You understand? And I don't know if
So
I'm.
that would also mean that perhaps when you are fighting demons, you are able to juggle your darkness, because you can use those powerful techniques knowing that at the very least some of that darkness will go away at the end of the battle.
Exactly. That's exactly what the players do. They love hunting demons because it's a sure way. Of course, it's dangerous. You can lose combat, you can lose the character, but if that doesn't happen, it's a sure way to at least keep your status, and gain a lot of experience points. Don't forget, you also have to fight for experience points, not just juggle the darkness. So, but yes, exactly. That's what happens. But there are also sometimes where the players. This is also a common feature of Demon Ninja. I even thought about changing this for the in the game so that didn't happen, but that would be changing the nature of the game. I mean, what I mean is this: sometimes players get a little upset with each other. I know I'm not making a great sales pitch of Demon Ninja right now, but this is the truth. Sometimes this is extracted from playtesting, okay, not from my imagination. So the thing is this: some players sometimes believe that other players are saving themselves on purpose, never using their techniques, and leaning on other players to do the whole job for them. And sometimes players pick up on this and they don't like this, and sometimes they say something. Okay, this has happened, but also for another reason. And now really have to talk about this. There's no other way, because losing darkness is not just a way of keeping your character. It is obviously a way of keeping your character, because you can, in Demon Ninja, you can lose a character in three ways. You can lose the character to darkness, which is very common. You can lose the character to wounds, right?
Mhm.
Or you can lose the character to infection by a Kisai Butsu,
Mhm.
so which is a signature uh, antagonist of the game. So you can lose the character in three ways, not one. And obviously, you have to be aware of this. And some players sometimes think that other players, are letting them do the job and saving themselves from using their techniques, and are whistling through the challenges. And sometimes this creates, some debates in the team. Sometimes this is not peaceful. So, but why is this so important to them? It is important because of this. Because once you get to zero darkness, if at the end of 10 game sessions with a certified pilgrim, certified by Disciple Studios, if you get to zero darkness, you are no longer just a player of Demon Ninja. You become a pilgrim, a Demon Ninja pilgrim. Okay, this is gonna sound really weird.
Mhm.
I know this sounds strange, but here it goes. What is a Demon Ninja pilgrim? Okay, a Demon Ninja pilgrim is someone who has survived 10 game sessions and brought his darkness to zero at the end. So we count 10 game sessions and ask the player, what is your darkness? And if he says zero, if it is true, and if the game master already had gone through that purpose, okay, this game master already did that. He already survived as a player, 10 Demon Ninja game sessions and brought his darkness down to zero. That means he's a pilgrim too. If you do that under a pilgrim game master, this changes the game. You get inducted into our official Demon Ninja Pilgrim list, lineage tree. You get Kun, which I can explain to you what is Kun.
Mhm.
Yes, and also you get access to a new character sheet that you can download from our website, which brings new skills, new stuff, and yeah. So it's a big deal for us. There's an induction, a little symbolic induction ceremony for you. Your name will be inscribed forever in our lineage tree to prove your accomplishments at the game table, because it's such a difficult thing to juggle, such a difficult thing to balance, that we make a big deal when somebody actually does this.
Mhm.
So that's why, and the ceremony is quite nice, and they want it. So people, want to get to zero darkness, but it's not easy. But you can always try again. So if you fail in 10 sessions, you survived. For example, you survived the 10 sessions, but you have 2 or 3 darkness. Okay, you failed first time, no problem. We start counting again. Another 10 sessions, you can try again. There's no limit. You can always try again. But it's like this is our community project around the game. So it's a tradition that we are trying to enact here that allows you to, you know, it's almost as if Oh yeah, I have to explain Kun. So the thing is this: Kun is the following. When you do this, when you become a demon ninja pilgrim, which is someone who has acquired true proficiency in role playing this game, you acquired the Kun of your game master's lineage. What is this? There are 9 lineages. There are 9 lineages in Demon Ninja of this thing, and the Kun is this. Kun is like almost like Kun is almost like an aura. Each lineage has its own Kun, its own aura. An aura is this. From that moment on, once you're Demon Ninja Pilgrim, it doesn't matter if your character die or if you just decide not to play that character anymore and play another character with another game master in another game table. It doesn't matter, with another group of friends or whatever. Or you are the game master. It doesn't matter. From that moment on, when you're inducted in our official lineage tree and you carry the Kun of your lineage, and the Kun of your lineage is like an aura that you carry with you every time you sit for a game, for a Demon Ninja game session, regardless of the character you're role playing. So it's something that jumps from your character to you as a person. Let's say from my lineage, which is Kokoro, the first lineage, when you become a Demon Ninja Pilgrim, every time you sit with somebody, with some group for a Demon Ninja game session, everybody gets +1 experience point at the end of the game session. Everybody around you, your friendly units around you, because you're there. And doesn't matter which character you're role playing. You're no longer dependent on characters. You can be role playing a character, any character, but you're a pilgrim now. So you bring that help with you. Every time you sit with the guys for the game session, they know everybody's going to gain +1 because you're there. That's it. It's a strange thing, right? It's not.
It sounds quite meta, like something that a player affects the player outside of the game.
Yes, but also inside, because when he sits for a game session, now everybody gains more experience because he's here.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That sounds pretty amazing, and I think it's a good way of adding to the realness of Demon Ninja. I'm not only obtaining benefits for that particular session, but for every other session. I think that's great.
Yes, forever and ever, as long as you live. Yes. So this is what I was talking about. Why darkness is so important. It's not just so important just to keep your character, but also important for this. And darkness has another feature, or I could put it better, it doesn't have another feature, which is the whole point, which is I've played many games I love as mechanisms of degeneration, which is what darkness really is. Right? It's basically the degeneration of your character. But the thing is, most of these games, you can see that. What I mean is this: when your character degenerates, you can see that. There's some physical sign. His eyes turn black, whatever. You can see that somehow, right? I mean, or he becomes more cold or more distant. There's generally
those changes that are quite easy to observe.
Okay, but that's the point. So they are easy to observe. Exactly. That's the problem. Because when they are easy to observe, they can control it better because everybody knows that something's happened, so they can adapt, But the darkness in Demon Ninja has no form, remember? I told you it's shapeless, formless. So there's no manifestation at all. The character doesn't know if he has darkness or not. There's one specialty, there's one commando specialty that can spot the darkness in other characters. There's one specialty, military special, that you can choose, and you can help your team deal with this and avoid what we already know. Okay, but aside from that specialty, which is a military that's a Demon Ninja specialty. Aside from that, there's no way of knowing, right? So there's no sign, there's nothing, which is much harder because it doesn't give you like hints to control the situation. I don't know if am I making myself clear?
No, I think it is. I'm actually surprised at how you managed to integrate the mechanics with the theme, because it feels like every mechanic has some sort of connection to what Demon Ninja is all about on that philosophical or even psychological level.
That's the hard part. Yes, I try. It's not. I mean, it's far from perfect, but I try to do this every time I can. Um, but I think the main mechanism, at least, is there. Judging from the playtesting, which is the only way I can judge this. I think the main mechanism is there. You know that when you use your stuff, your really powerful stuff, you know what happens. Your darkness goes up. Even this is all you need to know, right? I mean, you know what happens with darkness. If it goes too high, you're done. Not only you're done, everybody's done. So you have to keep that in check. But also, you don't know how much darkness you have. You as a player does, but the character doesn't. Remember. So the game master can check you for that. You know, he doesn't. Of course, yes, there is a specialty. This is the exception. There is a specialty that is basically built to deal with this, not only in himself but in the others. He can suck a point of darkness from another character and bring it to his own soul because he can do. Yeah, he can deal with this very much better than the other characters because he has been studying darkness since his training as a demon. He has been initiated into the mysteries of phalanx and darkness. Because you see, this is where the demon ninja becomes complex. Because okay, darkness can turn you into a monster. This is bad, yes, but we also have to see why this happens, right? I mean, it, darkness is a good thing in a certain way because without darkness, without the demon techniques, you know, the missions, I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to accomplish much. So darkness is not how could I say, it's not just the enemy of the game. You need it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is how many concessions should you do to evil in order to do good? Sometimes to do something good, we need to, you know, forgive ourselves once or twice for some evil stuff that we should do. And this is the question. Should we do this? Should we, you know, step into the evil realm sometimes to be able to do something greater, a greater good? Or no? Should we be like Gandalf? Never make any concessions to evil. This is the question that you have to answer. Not only answer, you have to put it in practice in the game, and we'll see how
Although
you
then
juggle
again,
this.
Gandalf did get involved the hobbits involved in the War of the Rings, so that's a bit shady that he took the hobbits and
Absolutely.
got them pulled into that's darkness too.
You probably got a point of darkness for that. Yes. So how could I? What? Oh yeah. I was saying this. There's this aspect, but also you were talking about how smooth it was to to work with the Japanese setting.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard for us foreigners to do this. We have to rely on other. But fortunately, I had a Japanese friend that helped me in some things, and we hired um, Japanese calligraphy writer for the kanji that you see as the professional calligraphy writer. So the kanji came out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And but there's something which is this. I wanted to make. Yes, I know that I am a foreigner looking to Japan. I am aware of this, perfectly aware. But there's, it's like darkness. Not everything is good. Not everything is bad. Why? Because I never wanted to make a game in a Japanese setting where, in order to play, you almost need to be a Japanese specialist, right?
Mm-hmm.
A specialist in Japan. If I do this, okay, I will have a brilliant document, I guess, but I don't know if people in general that are not all Japanese will be able to play, because it will be such a burden, such a demand on the player to know so many things about Japan. That the learning curve gets incredibly steep. So I never wanted to create that kind of a game. I wanted to create a game that, okay, you have to read a little, but especially if you're not the game master is a little more demanding, but especially if you're not the game master, if you're a player, with fairly short read, you can put together a character to play. It doesn't require the Demon Ninja experience is so intense from the second one of the game session that you don't even have time to role play backgrounds of your character. You need to go into right away. So this is the way I look at it. Yes, me being a foreigner, it's bad. If I was Japanese, I think it would be a better game. I really think that. But not a better game, but a better document, almost an historical, a better book. Let's put it this way. But I don't want to make a game only for people like that, that have extensive knowledge of Japan. No, I would like people to experience this fictional Japan and be able to do that with a minimum time of investment, because the lives we live today, we cannot all enroll in historical Japanese faculty to play Demon Ninja. So I had to try to make it a little more simple, but still get the enough information there for the game master to craft his scenes that he will present to the players, and for the players to understand. For that, I created some character concepts which give you an immediate background, or at least ideas for a background. You can find that there if you don't need to create stories. And I tried to make a smooth character creation process that is guided, by hands. And the character creation process has many random things too. So you can never repeat a character. It's next to impossible, because you have to roll dice for certain things. You have to train your ninja on the spot before, and training your ninja is rolling dice for some things. Other things you can allocate by your choice. It's a mix. Some things you can allocate by choice, but other things you have to roll dice. So you're not getting the same character twice. That's not going to happen.
Just like in real life, we cannot exactly determine everything that we got when we came to this world. We cannot control everything we were born with.
Exactly. It's a mix. Some things you can, for the purpose of the game, if you want to be good at something, we had to allow you to allocate so you can be good at something. But sometimes, but there's other things that you have to roll. So it has many other games. It has that element of randomness that I believe helps in this fashion.
Now, can you talk more about what you mentioned, the host?
Oh, yeah, sure. The host, if I had to choose one thing only to talk about, I would choose this, because this is the main element. I say it's the main element. Why? Because you will find them on every mission. It will be hard to have a game session that you don't deal with hosts. So the thing is this. For those who know nothing yet about Demon Ninja, the problem that Demon Ninja faced in this dark Japan was caused by the breaking of a pact between an ancient emperor and his dark allies, which was this mysterious force that has no form but has representatives here on planet Earth. And he made the pact with them. But why? Why did he make a pact with demons? Here is the philosophical part of Demon Ninja. Well, he did it because he wanted to restore the civil rule in Japan, the rule of the imperial house. He wanted to get Japan out of a military dictatorship, and he wasn't. Unfortunately, the battlefield was failing him. He was losing in the battlefield, and he knew that he would lose in the end. And once he lost, and his uncle also had tried and lost, so he made the desperate decision. He summoned an evil force that was offering its services to him for a long time, and made a pact with that force. So the force would give him the most extraordinary weapon to win this war. In exchange, he would deliver and would surrender to that strange, mysterious force roughly half of the country, half of Japan, the territory with everybody in it. So long story short, this is a long story. The part about the setting is very long in this manner, but I will make this short. With that help, he managed to, to win in the end, and his revolution succeeded. So he restored the rule of the imperial house, a rule for the people. I mean, to stop the military dictatorship, which was wreaking untold suffering in the populations, and he managed to do this. But what happened is this: the help that mysterious force gave him, the weapons that it gave him, was basically his own men. So that mysterious force asked him to deliver the 6 best samurai that he has in his service. And he did. And when they came back, they were taken by the dark powers. And when they came back, they were the first demon ninja, the founders of the demon clans. Okay? With their help, his revolution succeeded, and he managed to restore the rule of the imperial house and put a stop to the military dictatorship for a while. But the thing is, the war lasted for years. It was a brutal war. The original demon ninja, the so-called heads of Watanabe, which is another name for the founders of demon clans, but it's the same. They were known for many names depending on the region of Japan where they operated. They basically created the concept of special operations in the demon ninja universe, and their special ops allowed him to prevail, to vanquish his enemies, and to restore the rule of the imperial house. But the problem is, these men that were once his men, once taken by the dark powers, they got pretty ruthless. Okay, so they got pretty violent. To win the war, they had to do horrific stuff to the other part, to the shogun and to his allies, to his armies. And once he accomplished his objective, these creatures, these demons, these whatever you want to call them, were so violent, so ruthless, and so depraved that he didn't have courage to hand half the country to this force. Because what will happen? He made the pact with the force to release the country from what was a violent dictatorship, and now he's going to deliver half of the country to it even worse, because now it will be ruled by demons, real demons, not figuratively. So the thing is, he fell into a deep depression, and he understood the mistake. So he broke the pact. He denied. He was not capable of delivering the half the nation to the phalanx, which is phalanx is another name for this force, this dark force. And so when he did that, the pact was broken. We had an agreement, a written pact, because the phalanx had sent an envoyee, a representative to Earth, to sign in blood the pact with him, and he broke it. So he thought, fire would fall from the sky and a cataclysmic event would happen. But truthfully, nothing happened when he broke the pact. What happened was, nothing. Basically, the phalanx disappeared. And he thought, well, great. That's what I wanted. Great. But soon he understood that was the punishment. Because by stepping aside, he lost control over his demons, his 6 demons, his 6 heads of Watanabe, his 6 demon ninja, the original demon ninja. He lost control over them. He understood that he never had control over them. The only control he had was because of the presence of phalanx. Once phalanx left Earth and Japan, the demons didn't. So they stayed behind, but now there's no greater power controlling them, so they're out of control. And once they're out of control, they started wreaking havoc. Some stood, 2 of them, to be more precise, stood by him because the love for the emperor, their friendship, and their loyalty to each other was enough, but the others weren't. You know, they joined other factions, even the shogun, and even another faction which is much more savage and ruthless than any man, any shogun. So he had a problem on his hands, and these demon ninja started training more demon ninja to create their ninja armies to overcome him now and to attack the other factions. But they didn't have time for that, unfortunately. But they managed to found the demon clans and to start training the first batches of demon ninjas. You know, and these demon ninja then train other demon ninja, and that's when we get to you, to your character. You're an heir of this situation, a remote situation. You don't even know your head of Watanabe, the founder of the demon clan, is too far gone. But the passing of the dark part, the training, the demon ninja training continues to this day. They die and they train more. So what happened is the demons that were his enemies and the ninja they train were wreaking havoc in the country. So we have brutal ninja wars now. Some demon clans, some demon covenants do not forgive the long dead. He's long dead. He's, of course, we don't play on this time. When we start playing, there's centuries after this. He's long dead, but the accusation of breaking the pact still continues. So some of them do not forgive the emperor because he broke the pact. We had an agreement and he broke it. So they feel legitimate and following their agenda, evil, not evil, but if someone has to suffer to reinstate the power of the pact, they will suffer because we had a pact, we had an agreement, and you broke it. Some have this mentality. Others understand that there's no place for demon ninja in the future. The future is a future of peace, of prosperity. The ninja are gone. The demon ninja were something of an old, forgotten age, and they should disappear with time, so the people can live, free and never have to even know that demon techniques exist and all this horrific stuff and killing techniques. And some accepted this fate and surrendered themselves and killed themselves even, but others didn't. Others only care about the broken pact, and they want what's theirs, which is the part of Japan that was promised. Okay? But the problem of the broken pact was not just this. Soon after the pact was broken, an epidemic appeared among the peoples of Japan and started spreading at an horrific rate. This epidemic, okay, now this is the horror part of the game. This epidemic is as follows. People started being infected with a creature inside them, which is a Kisei Butsu, or just Butsu, an abbreviation, Butsu infections. A Butsu is basically like a nest of tentacles, you see like a squid or octopus tentacle. Yes, all black and terrible, and this infection develops inside their guts, and soon infiltrates the cranium and the brain and starts getting access to their intelligence, to their behavior. And yes, and they are very violent, and the way that the infection spread is also very medieval and very violent, because it's not by airborne or nothing like that. It's by the tentacles shoot from their mouth and enter the mouth of another person and secretes a demon bile that now germinates and infects them too. Some hosts are conscious of this, that they have been infected. Others are in denial. It depends on the place where the infection has settled. So, okay, these people are everywhere, and this changed everything in Japan, because the places where this is called the demon plague. This epidemic is called the demon plague. So the places where the epidemic hadn't reached yet, they closed contact with the rest of Japan, so not to allow this epidemic to spread into their lands, the so-called safe lands. And then there's the so-called dark lands or plague lands, which everything is infected by this, right? So this over the time it kills the host, but until then, the host does all sorts of different things, because some are conscious, some are not, some are in denial, some accept that they have a problem, some don't accept, some, want to be left alone, some want company, though they know they need help and they demand that help and they go to you to, to make you help them. But once they go within 5 feet, now you suffer the attack of yeah. So we have this situation going, and this is so serious that the ninja organization created a new school, a new ryu, a new school of ninjutsu, a specialty to deal with this, which is called the remover, by the way. So it's a ninja that is solely focused in dealing with this problem. Okay, because these people, yes, they are terrible antagonists. Remember, anybody can get infected by this. It doesn't matter if you're a demon ninja or not. We had demon ninjas infected by this. Players infected players. Wow, this is crazy once it gets going. I mean, so you even have a skill on your character sheet, which is the art of fighting tentacles, the art of fighting tentacle people, hosts. Because there's a lot of problems with this. You don't want to cut them. One of the first mistakes that people that start demon ninja do is draw a sword and just attack them, cut them. Of course, they're going to gain darkness because it's a civilian. Once you kill a civilian, you gain darkness too. Okay, but even worse than that, cutting the tentacles doesn't solve the problem, because once you cut them, for each one you cut, 2 spring forth. So it's a serious problem. You have to find other ways to deal with the problem. Of course, the new ninja specialty found ways: poison, fire. There's a lot of, but there is not easy to deal with hosts, and it only takes you lose one grapple roll to a host and you're infected. So you can never lose. You can never lose a grapple roll to a host. There's a lot of grappling in the game. Why? Because you don't want to kill them, because they're a civilian. You want to help them. So you can lose darkness. If every time you save a host, you lose darkness. You get a step closer to your objective and you lose darkness. Now you can use the techniques more, So.
And do you suffer some sort of penalty if you get infected with that? Does your character get some sort of penalty or negative modifier?
No, it's worse than that. You lose the character. You have to make a roll to see how many days you can withstand until the small tentacles enter your brain. Once they do, you lose the character, because the butsu is spreading inside you. You don't know it yet, but it is. So the thing is, that's one way of losing your character. But the thing is, you don't want to kill them. You want to help them. But to help them, they have to cooperate. They have to let the remover, the specialists, do the incision on the belly and remove and prick the stitch the parasites, and then the blood comes out and the tentacles die. This is doable, but you have to immobilize him. So there's a lot of grappling in the game. So generally somebody has to grapple him and take their back, immobilize him, so that the remover can do his job. And then you have a skill you have a special skill that of fighting tentacles, hosts, where it teaches you to give your arm so that the tentacles can wrap around, so you can then grapple and maneuver around his back. And there's an all art of dealing with hosts. Host is very important because that's a very good way of bringing your darkness down, and also because you get a lot of experience points from doing so. And it's a duty of any demon ninja to help stop the dark plague. But sometimes it's hard. Sometimes the hosts are not just peasants on a village. Sometimes a daimyo lord becomes infected and he has armies at his disposal. Imagine what he will do when he loses his mind. I mean, this will be horrific. This is hard. This is not easy, because it's not straightforward, right? I mean, it's not, okay, this is an enemy, this is an antagonist, attack him and gain your loot, your experience. No. If you do this, you will gain darkness if you kill people at random. The game master doesn't need to tell you anything, as long as they're civilians. If they're samurai or demon ninja, no. But if they're civilians, your darkness will go up. you lose the character, and not very quickly. so so it's a different mentality. But the players, of course, then the first encounters with hosts are a mess, because the players don't know what the hell, what to do, what is this, but then I think every one of them becomes a specialist in dealing with these hosts, and they're very grateful once they're helped, because then they recover their minds and their conscious. But you have to be very careful, so you have one skill, you have a special skill to prevent you from getting infected just by losing a grapple roll to a host. There's a skill that prevents this. It comes with the game. It's on your character sheet to give you that buffer to allow you to work around the host and do your duty. But it's a very common. Once you read through the book, you will see there's hosts everywhere. In the chapter where we suggest missions, you'll find hosts. There are hosts everywhere. Sometimes, we're just now finishing a chronicle where the son of a powerful daimyo with thousands of samurai of the service, his son is like a prince, what would be a prince in the West, which is the leader of his armies, and he was victorious in the battle, but some of people in the battle were infected, and he became infected, and he ran off crazy, and now the players have to bring him back.
Trying to rescue him from the infection.
But he's infected. He's a host now. So this has to...
Once you are infected, there is no way of curing you?
Yes, there is. Removal.
Yes. That's why I said now they need to find a way to cure him.
No, they have... there's a specialty, a remover. There's a specialty, yes. And there's also medicine that can poison you. You can poison yourself to kill the host and try to survive. This specialty remover, just so to illustrate what I'm saying, in the fiction, in the beginning of the game, you see a remover immediately in the fiction asking for time. You can operate several of them, but there is no time, which sometimes happens. And if there is no time and we can't operate and we can escort the remover to operate, then we have to make, unfortunately, very hard decisions and gain darkness in the process. Of course, one thing that happens that players sometimes complain, but is a part of the game. Sometimes you are given a mission that will give you darkness because of the nature of the mission. That this will happen, because how can I do this without hurting people? This is not possible, because if I cannot save them, I know that I will receive a command to clear the village, and this will be horrific, and I will gain darkness from this. They know, the players, as they become experienced, you begin assigning these missions. They know, they are aware, and sometimes they complain. But this is the nature of Demon Ninja. Gaining darkness is not a punishment. Okay, you did this, now you gain dark. The game is punishing you. No, this is not a punishment. This is
it's a consequence.
Yes, this is the whole experience of the game. If you never gain darkness, you can never accomplish anything. You see? So this is not a punishment. This is the hardest part to explain about Demon Ninja. Sometimes people say, wow, this is too hard. What do you mean? If I use my powers, but I have to use my powers. This is the whole idea of role-playing. I have to use my powers to get the stuff that needs to be done. Yes, but there's everything we already talked about. There's all these balances, these homeostasis that you have to maintain in not only your character, but your person. And remember, if you touch the ultimate of the ninja condition, you attain ninja supremacy by reducing your darkness to 0 in 10 game sessions. No matter if it's 10, 20, or 30, you can always try again. But at the end of each game session, consecutive game sessions, if you can reduce your darkness to 0, then you have proved yourself. Wow, you have proved yourself really good. You are a very resourceful person, not just character. Then you get the new character sheet with new contents from Disciple Studios, with new stuff. So there's this. But yes, the host is, because of this demonic plague, this was a consequence of the broken pact. Once the pact was broken, nothing fell from the sky. But soon enough, this epidemic started to spread, and this caused havoc, food shortages, burning rice fields, deserted, abandoned villages, abandoned towns riddled with demons and hosts. Sometimes the hosts run for the characters asking for help. They're not mean. They don't want to hurt anybody. They just feel weird inside. And but the problem is that if they come too close, now you have to know how to deal with this. That and the book now is the good news. There's a specialty in the Demon Ninja prepared to deal with this. His specialty is such, and there's even a clan, a demon clan, which has a specialty that when he wants, because he has been immunized to almost death with needles and poisons and 1,000 poisons. When he wants, he can make his body secrete as acidic. He can enter a acidosis stasis of his body, like a metabolic acidosis. His body becomes extremely acidic, and parasites cannot live inside a host that acidic. So he becomes immune to host infection for some time. That allows him to work freely without fear. Others who don't have these perks, this amazing power, they use more practical things. For example, they use a collar with spikes like a wolf, like a shepherd dog, so that when the tentacles attack, they get, skewed in the spikes and, they retrieve. There's a lot of equipment that you can use to deal with this too. You will get acquainted with the game and the possibilities. It's just a very alien concept now, but once you try, you see, oh yeah, well, and you devise your own contingencies. After a while. You start to adapt and to understand the depthness of the problem, and you start to adapt. And also, there's a lot of in the equipment part. There's a lot of things that you can use. I can say, for example, you can buy. I say buy because in Demon Ninja, before starting the game, you buy equipment with equipment points. You receive a number of equipment points that you roll for. Remember, nothing is the same. So you roll for that, and then you trade those equipment points for things that you want from the equipment lists. And some things are red fugu extract. Fugu is a poisonous fish from Japan. So there's an extract of that's once you administered in foods or drink to a host, it can kill the parasite immediately. That's very expensive, but that exists. So there's ways, the game is filled with, help, equipment, techniques, but it's also always a very challenging aspect of the game because the host is half antagonists, half friendly units, and also one chapter of the book is dedicated to the game master. Because the game master needs all the help we can get with this alien concept of half antagonist, half friendly units. So there's a chapter there to help the game master create hosts. And hosts always have at least 2 symptoms. Because how do you know somebody is a host? You don't know it. How can you know? I mean, right? The players are riding through a village, an abandoned village, burned village, and there's someone, sitting by the well with a hat on his head, seems dead, half dead. How do you know? There's a lot of anemia, the disease that can mimic the symptoms of Butsu infection. How do you know this? You need to have medicine, which has the skill of the game, very important, because you need this to interpret the symptoms. Every host has at least 2 symptoms. 2. So the game brings a manual generator of symptoms that you roll dice to generate symptoms for your hosts. So you have a variety of hosts, and at the end of the game there's templates with several hosts that tell you there's art of the host, what this host wants, what he doesn't want, what will make him react, what will make him comply, the excuses that you will say, because sometimes when they're in denial they become excuse experts. They say, oh no, every time every time you suggest there's a problem you might be able to help, they start, if they're in denial, they start, they start making excuses and there's a long chapter, not just explaining what is a host, but giving you strategies for character development. For example, and I will finish the host part with this. For example, one of the character concepts that you can use to create your character, your Demon Ninja character, I say, one of the character concepts is former host. You were once a host. You were once a host. You know what it is to be infected. You know what it is to feel that those things moving in your belly, and feel your mind clouding and brain fog and not being in your right mind. And you were saved by a remover from the demon ninja, but you had a particular talents, so they chose you and trained you, and you yourself became a demon ninja, and now you're one of the demon ninja. But you know what it is. You have memories of that very, or you don't, or you had a blackout. That now the game master can interpret this in the player in whichever direction they want, of shock and trauma. You loss of memory or have terrible memories. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
there's well, but one of the concepts is far more host. So you have you have things to tell about and talk about during the game. And
That's what I like about the core book because I think it provides all of the tools to cover all of those situations. But so far, what I have read, it never felt overwhelming. Rather, it felt like, oh, this is the right tool to handle that situation, that instance, and things like that.
yeah, well, we try because it's such an alien concept, right?
Mhm.
It's such an alien concept that if we don't have a whole set of tools to help people, I don't think people would care to learn and to they have to understand that there's ways to do things. This is not that's you can prevail in this game, absolutely, yes you can, but not just with combat. You have to use your mind
Mhm.
in other ways. There's an homeostasis, there's hidden balances in the game, that not just your character sheet but your relation with the other characters too, because you're a tight ninja team, but I've told you that there's this darkness in use of techniques, things that's there's a lot to there's certainly a lot to find out, I hope.
Mhm.
Well, thanks for talking to us about everything concerning Demon Ninja. It is a fascinating game on how deep it is and all of the research and work that went into it.
Thank
And
you.
for those of us that are watching this interview, if you have any questions or comments, please let us know in the comment section. I will try to answer to the best of my ability. After all, I am still reviewing Demon Ninja. I am going to make many videos about that tabletop RPG. So once again, I'm solid. Perfect explanation. I think everything was pretty clear, and I think it drew us in. It pulled us into the mythos of Demon Ninja.
Look, Abraham, I want to thank you so much for having me. Not just for having me, but all the work you do in your channel talking about games. I just found out about the channel. I didn't know it yet, but now I'm a fan. Uh, and I want to know how I can help the channel even further. So I'm very thankful for the work you do. You give an opportunity to independent developers, which are on a very hard fight for visibility. As you know, there's a lot. It's very difficult. It's our role playing games are an expanding industry, but not for the small guy is a slightly different experience. It's very hard to make games. So I want to thank you for the work you do. You provide an excellent opportunity for people to show their games, show their creations, and have a chance to talk about it. And this is invaluable. This is precious to the small independent designer or team of designers. Your channel is amazing, and I love the way you portray and present the products, the books, and the games. Thank you so much, El Jaguar.
Well, thank you for saying so. I try. I try my best. Well, as always, thanks to everyone. And remember, if you wish to support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description. I'm going to put links to the Kickstarter. Remember, it begins in January, correct?
Yes, mid-January, if everything goes accordingly.
Yeah, so please, everyone, pay close attention to that. Demon Ninja. It sounds like a game that goes beyond what is expected of the typical fictional ninja. Well, I am going to stop the recording in 10 seconds. Once again, thanks to everyone. This has been Abraham El Jaguar, a professional game master. If you want me to run a game for you, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Now, before we stop recording, do you have anything else to say, M. Solid?
Thank you thanks to everyone watching. I hope it was enough to give you a general idea of the game, and I hope to see you all soon. Let's all game on.
Excellent. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player.
Oh yeah.
See you later.